Hello, my lovelies. I'm Sinead, and welcome. I wanted to do something a little different this week and read to you from one of my favorite authors, AA Milne. He has two books about Christopher Robin. One is When We Were Very Young, and the other one is Now We Are Six. I happen to have a compilation copy and that I will be reading from. And so I hope you enjoy this little distraction from the world at large. Something a little positive, I think, is necessary. And I hope to read from this book multiple times, but today we're going to just kind of start at the beginning. It is the foreword written by Milne himself. So it says, "Just before we begin. At one time, but I have changed my mind now, I thought I was going to write a little note at the top of each of these poems in the matter of Mr. William Wordsworth, who liked to tell his readers where he was staying and which of his friends he was walking with and what he was thinking about when the idea of writing his poem came to him. You will find some lines about a swan here, if you get as far as that, and I should have explained to you in the note that Christopher Robin, who feeds this swan in the mornings, has given him the name of Pooh. This is a very fine name for a swan, because if you call him and he doesn't come, which is a thing swans are good at, then you can pretend that you were just saying Pooh, to show how little you wanted him. Well, I should have told you that there are 6 cows who come down to Pooh's lake every afternoon to drink. And of course they say moo as they come. So I thought to myself one fine day, walking with my friend Christopher Robin, moo rhymes with Pooh. Surely there is a bit of poetry to be got out of that. Well, then I began to think about the swan on his lake, and at first I thought how lucky it was that his name was Pooh. And then I didn't think about that anymore. And the poem came quite differently from what I had intended. And all I can say for it now is that if it hadn't been for Christopher Robin, I shouldn't have written it, which indeed is all I can say for any of the others. So this is why these verses go about together, because they are all friends of Christopher Robin. And if I left out one because it was not quite like the one before, then I should have to leave out the one before because it is not quite like the next, which would be disappointing for them both. Then there is another thing. You may wonder sometimes who is supposed to be saying the verses. Is it the author, that strange but uninteresting person? Or is it Christopher Robin? Or some other boy or girl or nurse? Or who? If I had followed Mr. Wordsworth's plan, I could have explained this each time. But as it is, you will have to decide for yourselves. If you are not quite sure, then it is probably who, and that's with an H. I don't know if you have ever met Who, H-O-O, but he is one of those curious children who look 4 on Monday and 8 on Tuesday and are really 28 on Saturday. And you never know whether it is the day when he can pronounce his R's. He had a great deal to do with these verses. In fact, you might almost say that this book is entirely the unaided work of Christopher Robin, who, and Mr. Shepherd, who drew the pictures. They have said thank you politely to each other several times, and now they say it to you for taking them into your house. Thank you so very much for asking us. We've come. AA Milne. Excuse me. To Christopher Robin Milne, or as he prefers to call himself, Billy Moon. This book, which owes so much to him, is now humbly offered. The very first poem is titled Corner of the Street. Down by the corner of the street, where the 3 roads meet, and the feet of the people as they pass go tweet, tweet, tweet. Who comes tripping round the corner of the street? One pair of shoes, which are nurses, one pair of slippers, which are Percy's. Tweet, tweet, tweet. And the second poem, Buckingham Palace. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. Alice is marrying one of the guard. A soldier's life is terribly hard, says Alice. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. We saw a guard in a sentry box. One of the sergeants looks after their socks, says Alice. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. We looked for the king, but he never came. Well, God take care of him all the same, says Alice. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. They've great big parties inside the grounds. I wouldn't be king for £100, says Alice. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. A face looked out, but it wasn't the king's. He's much too busy assigning things, says Alice. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. Do you think the king knows all about me? Sure to, dear, but it's time for tea, says Alice. The next is Happiness. John had great big waterproof boots on. John had great big waterproof hat. John had great big waterproof mackintosh. And that, said John, is that. The next is the christening. What shall I call my dear little dormouse? His eyes are small, but his tail is enormous. I sometimes call him Terrible John, 'cause his tail goes on and on and on. And I sometimes call him Terrible Jack, 'cause his tail goes on to the end of his back. And I sometimes call him Terrible James, 'cause he says he likes me calling him names. But I think I shall call him Jim, 'cause I am so fond of him. And now we have Puppy and I. I met a man as I went walking. He got talking, man and I. Where are you going to, man? I said. I said to the man as he went by. Down to the village to get some bread. Will you come with me? No, not I. I met a horse as I went walking. We got talking, horse and I. Where are you going to, horse, today? I said to the horse as he went by. Down to the village to get some hay. Will you come with me? No, not I. I met a woman as I went walking. We got talking, woman and I. Where are you going to, woman, so early? I said to the woman as she went by. Down to the village to get some barley. Will you come with me? No, not I. I met some rabbits as I went walking. We got talking, rabbits and I. Where are you going in your brown fur coats? I said to the rabbits as they went by. Down to the village to get some oats. Will you come with us? No, not I. I met a puppy as I went walking. We got talking, puppy and I. Where are you going this fine day? I said to the puppy as he went by. Up in the hills to roll and play. I'll come with you, puppy, said I. And I think we're going to finish up today's reading with Twinkle Toes. When the sun shines through the leaves of the apple tree, when the sun makes shadows of the leaves of the apple tree, then I pass on the grass from one leaf to another, from one leaf to its brother, tip-toe, here I go. I hope you have a delightful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.